The text arrived at 6:37 on a Wednesday evening. David was standing in his kitchen, stirring pasta sauce. His 6-year-old daughter, Emma, was coloring at the dining table. A normal night, a normal family. Then his phone buzzed. He expected a work email. Instead, it was his wife, Vanessa. Going to Miami with Marcus for a week? Don't be jealous. I need a break. Take care of Emma. Marcus, her college boyfriend, the one she had promised was just a friend. David's hand stopped moving. Something cold and heavy settled in his chest, but his face remained calm. Years of high-stakes business negotiations had taught him to mask his emotions. He glanced at Emma. Her small face was scrunched in concentration, coloring inside the lines. "Daddy, is dinner ready?" She called. "5 more minutes, sweetheart," he answered, his voice eerily steady. Vanessa had left that morning with an overnight bag. She kissed him on the cheek and told him she was visiting her sister in Houston. A family emergency, she said. He had believed her, like he always did. 10 years of marriage. A beautiful daughter. A beautiful home. Retirement plans. Shared bank accounts. Trust all of it. A carefully constructed house of cards. And Vanessa had just knocked it down with 17 carelessly typed words. David served Emma her dinner. He asked about her day. He nodded and smiled at all the right moments. But inside, he was already assembling a plan, not out of rage. Out of precision. That night, when he tucked Emma into bed, she wrapped her small arms around his neck. "I love you, Daddy. You're the best daddy in the whole world." Her innocent words nearly broke him. He held her tighter, inhaling the scent of her strawberry shampoo. This was what Vanessa had risked. This was what she had devalued. After Emma fell asleep, David stood in her doorway, watching her breathe. In that moment, his hurt crystallized into something harder, something colder. He returned to their bedroom and finally replied to Vanessa's message. "Understood. We'll be fine. Enjoy yourself." Then he made a phone call. Robert Kane answered on the 3rd ring. They had been friends since college. Robert was now one of the city's most formidable divorce attorneys. "David, it's almost midnight. Everything okay? I need to meet now. It's important." Robert didn't hesitate. "My office in 30 minutes. As David drove through the quiet streets, memories of Vanessa assaulted him. Their first date, the way she laughed, the look on her face when she held Emma for the first time. Had it all been a lie? Or had she simply stopped caring somewhere along the way? By the time he reached Robert's office, he had channeled his pain into determination. Each memory became another brick in the wall he was building around his heart. Asterisk. Robert's office occupied the top floor of a downtown building. When David arrived, Robert was waiting in the lobby, wearing jeans and a rumpled t-shirt. "You look like hell," Robert said. "Vanessa is having an affair. She texted me that she's in Miami with her ex-boyfriend." Robert read the message, then looked up with a predatory smile. "She actually put it in writing. Unbelievable." They walked to his corner office. Floor-to-ceiling windows displayed the city skyline, but David barely noticed. "What do you want?" Robert asked. "Reconciliation? Divorce? Something in between?" David met his gaze. "I want everything. Full custody of Emma, the house, protection of my assets, and I want Vanessa to understand exactly what she threw away." Robert leaned back. "That's a tall order, even with this text message. Texas is a no-fault state, unless we can prove her behavior is detrimental to your daughter. Then we get proof, and we move fast. Vanessa thinks I'm the predictable husband who'll be waiting when she gets back. She has no idea what I'm capable of." For the next 2 hours, they outlined a strategy. By the time David left, the first pieces were already in motion. As he drove home, A sudden wave of grief washed over him. He pulled over, unable to see through the tears. For 10 minutes, he sat there, hands gripping the steering wheel, letting the pain flow through him. This would be his only moment of weakness. From now on, he would be nothing but strategic. The next morning, David called in sick for the first time in 3 years. After dropping Emma at school, he visited 3 banks. At the first bank, he asked to freeze their joint accounts. The private banker looked uncomfortable. "Mr. Sullivan, may I ask why?" David slid his phone across the desk. The text message was still there. "My wife is in Miami with her ex-boyfriend. I need to protect my finances before she empties our accounts." The banker's expression shifted from discomfort to indignation. "I understand. We'll set up new accounts in your name only." By 2 o'clock, David had transferred half of their joint savings into a new account only he could access. He had frozen their joint credit cards. He had begun removing Vanessa as a beneficiary from his life insurance and retirement accounts. Each signature felt like reclaiming a piece of himself. At one point, his phone buzzed with a text from Vanessa. "Having dinner at that seafood place you wanted to try. Wish you were here. Kiss Emma for me." The casual cruelty staggered him. She was flaunting her betrayal while pretending to include him. He showed the message to the bank manager, who processed his request to cancel Vanessa's credit card with even greater urgency. That afternoon, David met with a private investigator named Ethan. They sat in his cramped office above a convenience store. "Miami isn't a challenge," Ethan said. "You have the hotel name?" "The Four Seasons." Vanessa texted her sister the information, thinking she was covering for her. What she doesn't know is that her sister called me last night. Confused about why Vanessa claimed to be visiting her, Ethan nodded. "I've got connections at most luxury hotels. We'll have photos within 24 hours. I need everything. Times, places, what they're doing. Especially anything that shows she's neglecting her responsibilities as a mother." Ethan studied him carefully. "You know, most guys who come in here are falling apart. They want evidence to confirm their suspicions. Then they go home and cry or beg their wives to come back. You're different. How so?" "You already know what you want. You're not gathering evidence to make a decision. You're gathering ammunition." David neither confirmed nor denied it. "Just get me what I need." That evening, when David picked up Emma from school, she asked the question he had been dreading. "When is Mommy coming home?" He knelt to her level. "Mommy is on a trip right now. She'll be gone for a little while." The painful truth was that Vanessa hadn't called once to speak to Emma since leaving. Not a single inquiry about her daughter's well-being. "I'm sure she'll call soon," David lied, hating himself for it. "How about we get ice cream on the way home?" Emma's face brightened instantly. If only adult pain could be so easily erased. That night, after Emma was asleep, David sat alone in the kitchen with a glass of bourbon. His phone rang. Vanessa's mother. "David, is everything all right?" "I've been trying to reach Vanessa, but she's not answering." Ellen Reynolds had always been kind to him. He couldn't bring herself to hurt her with the truth. "Vanessa is taking some time away," he said carefully. "She's fine, just unavailable right now, away. But she just called yesterday saying she was helping her sister. Now Sandra says she hasn't seen Vanessa in weeks." "David, what's going on?" The lie was already unraveling. "Ellen, I think you should talk to Vanessa directly when she gets back." "It's not my place. Is she with that Marcus person again?" Ellen's voice had gone cold. "Thomas and I warned her after college that he was trouble." "Is that where she is?" The revelation hit David like a physical blow. This had happened before. "Oh, David, I thought you knew. Before you were married, there was an incident. We thought it was over, that she'd chosen you. She promised us." David's hand tightened around his glass. I need to go, Ellen. I'll have Vanessa call you when I hear from her. He hung up before she could respond. This wasn't a momentary weakness. This was a pattern. A history he had never been told about Dot in that moment. Any lingering doubt about his course of action vanished. Asterisk by Friday morning. Ethan had delivered. David received the photos while making Emma's pancakes. He tucked his phone away. His daughter couldn't wait. After dropping Emma at school, he pulled into a parking lot and finally looked at Vanessa and Marcus lounging by the hotel pool. Her hand on his thigh. Vanessa and Marcus at dinner. Leaning close across a candlelit table. Vanessa and Marcus entering the hotel lobby, his arm around her waist. Her laughing up at him with an expression David hadn't seen directed at him in years. Then came the real blow. A video clip taken in the hotel bar. Vanessa, slightly drunk, one arm draped around Marcus's neck. To freedom, she laughed. And to husbands who don't ask questions. Marcus pulled her closer. You know, you could just leave him. We could be together for real. Vanessa's expression sobered slightly. It's complicated. There's Emma and the house. David controls everything. Besides, he's safe, dependable. He'll always be there. The video ended. David sat in his car, physically unable to move. Safe, dependable. He'll always be there. She saw him as a security system, not a husband. A reliable provider she could betray without consequence. He forwarded everything to Robert. I've seen them, Robert said. They're perfect. The judge I have in mind is particularly sensitive about parental responsibilities. Vanessa choosing a romantic dinner over her daughter's bedtime won't play well. What's our next move? I've already filed for emergency temporary custody. The hearing is Monday morning. Based on this evidence, I anticipate the judge will grant us temporary full custody. David hung up and sat in his car for a long time, staring at families in a nearby park. Normal people living normal lives, unaware that their foundations could crumble with a single text message. That weekend, David took Emma to the zoo. They watched sea lions perform. They fed giraffes. They ate ice cream that dripped onto their shoes. He took dozens of photos of her laughing, pointing, marveling at the animals. Evidence of a devoted father spending quality time with his daughter while her mother was nowhere to be found. Daddy, Emma asked, why doesn't Mommy call me at bedtime like she always does? The simple question cut through all his careful preparations. Sometimes when grown-ups are away, they get caught up in things and forget to call. But Mommy always says I'm the most important thing in her whole world. David's throat tightened. You are the most important thing, Emma, to both of us. Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes, but that doesn't change how much we love you. Emma seemed to accept this, but her normally boundless energy was subdued. She kept checking his phone whenever it buzzed, hoping it was her mother. Meanwhile, Vanessa's messages grew increasingly desperate. Her credit cards had been declined. She couldn't access their bank accounts. The hotel was threatening to call security. David didn't respond. Monday. Morning dawned clear and crisp. David wore his best suit. Emma was with his parents, who had been told only that Mommy and Daddy had important meetings. The courthouse was quiet. Robert met him at the entrance, confidence radiating from him like heat. Vanessa's here, with her parents. No lawyer that I can see. They entered the courtroom. David didn't look toward the back where Vanessa sat. Judge Harriet Wilson called the court to order at precisely 9 o'clock. She reviewed the documents with careful attention. Mr. Kane, on what grounds are you seeking emergency temporary custody? Robert stood. Your Honor, we have evidence that the respondent abandoned her 6-year-old daughter without proper arrangements to pursue an extramarital affair. She lied about her whereabouts, traveled out of state with her paramour, and demonstrated a concerning lack of judgment. Is the respondent represented by counsel? From the back of the room, a small voice answered, No, Your Honor. This proceeding was arranged without my knowledge. I only learned of it yesterday. David allowed himself to look at her. Vanessa sat between her parents. Her normally perfect appearance was disheveled. Her hair was pulled back in a hasty ponytail. Her face was bare of makeup. Her eyes were red. For the next 40 minutes, Robert methodically built the case. The text messages, the photos from Miami, the video from the hotel bar, statements from hotel staff. Through it all, David sat perfectly still. He could feel Vanessa's gaze burning into him, but he refused to acknowledge her. When the video played, Vanessa let out a small broken sound. Her mother reached for her hand. Her father remained rigid, his jaw clenched. Judge Wilson turned to Vanessa. Mrs. Sullivan, do you wish to respond? Vanessa stood, smoothing her dress with trembling hands. Yes, Your Honor, I made a terrible mistake. I lied to my husband. I spent time with someone I shouldn't have. But I love my daughter more than anything. I've been her primary caregiver since she was born. One bad decision doesn't erase years of being a good mother. Judge Wilson removed her glasses. Mrs. Sullivan, the video evidence shows you referring to this relationship as ongoing. That suggests a pattern, not a single lapse in judgment. Vanessa's shoulders slumped. Judge Wilson replaced her glasses. I am granting temporary full custody to Mr. Sullivan, with supervised visitation for Mrs. Sullivan twice weekly. Pending further hearings, Mr. Sullivan will retain possession of the family home. Court is adjourned. The gavel fell. Robert shook David's hand. Perfect outcome. Behind them, Vanessa was crying softly. In the weeks that followed, Vanessa found an apartment near her parents. She attended her supervised visitations faithfully. She obtained a lawyer, but the mountain of evidence was too high. 3 months later, the divorce was finalized. Vanessa received less than she might have in a standard divorce, but more than Robert had initially proposed. David wasn't interested in destroying her completely, only in protecting Emma and himself. At the final hearing, as they waited for their attorneys, David and Vanessa found themselves alone in a courthouse corridor. I never thought you'd be so ruthless, she said quietly. In 10 years of marriage, I never saw this side of you. You never gave me reason to show it. She studied his face. Was it all an act? The patience? The understanding? No, that was real. But so is this. You assumed I was weak because I was kind. That was your mistake. She flinched. And your solution? Taking away my financial security? Using Emma as leverage? It was strategic and effective. They signed the final documents in silence. That night, as David tucked Emma into bed, she asked the question he had been dreading. Daddy, is Mommy ever coming home? He smoothed her hair back. No, sweetheart. Mommy and Daddy aren't going to live together anymore. But we both love you very much. Because of what Mommy did in Miami. David hesitated. Sometimes grown-ups make choices that hurt the people they love. When that happens, things have to change. But none of this is your fault. Emma nodded. Can I still love Mommy even if she made a mistake? Of course you can. You should love your mom. Emma's small hand patted his cheek. Don't be sad, Daddy. We're going to be okay. Her simple confidence nearly broke him. Here is the truth: this story does not change. Vanessa didn't lose. David because she went to Miami with Marcus. She lost him because she thought he would simply accept it. Because she believed his kindness made him weak. Her greatest mistake wasn't betraying his trust. It was underestimating his capacity to ensure that betrayal would be the last mistake she ever made at his expense. Some people shout when they are wounded. Others go quiet. The most dangerous are those who go to work. David didn't destroy Vanessa. She destroyed herself. He simply refused to be destroyed with her, and that is a victory no one can take away. Thank you for watching Light After Dark. If this story touched you, share it, subscribe, and remember, kindness is not weakness, and patience is not permission.